My husband said, if you're nervous, you should imagine everyone naked. So when my name was pulled, he asked me if he should strip. So he didn't. He's right there. Maybe he could. Might make it better. Yeah, bring it on.
That would make me more comfortable.
Yeah, maybe not, yeah. So there's a little bit of back information I need to give before I tell my story. We have 2 sons. Our youngest one's Alex, and our oldest one's Grant. And when Grant was in high school, he went on a youth trip and had a life-changing experience. He was questioning whether it was God or not and asked for signs and went through a series of things, saw butterflies and fireflies, and asked for something so strong that it couldn't be denied, and he got sprayed by a skunk. So he felt like that was a good answer. So skunks kind of have a good place in our heart. So the second thing is that when Grant was a junior in college, a Gator, which Danielle just did, he was in a fatal caving accident. And so anyway, the story's not going to be about that, but I just wanted to give those 2 pieces of information because they play into the story. So 3 years ago, on a Thursday, my husband and I packed a car and drove to the Jonesboro Storytelling Festival, which a lot of you have probably been to. So it was a long trip, and before we had left, he had looked up online and found a brick oven pizza place. And so all the way up there, he said, don't eat a lot because we're going to eat at the pizza place. And don't eat all the car junk food because we're going to eat at the pizza place. So and also he only stops usually 1 time for me to go to the bathroom. So I basically had nothing to drink either. So we get up to, we're almost there, and we'd stopped at one of those welcome stations, and the guy had given him a thing of hiking trails. So when I told my youngest son this, he's like, Mom, I cannot believe you fell for one of Dad's shenanigans again. So we were almost there, and he said, the guy gave me a thing. Let's just get out and do a really short hike, and it'll just be really quick. We'll stretch our legs, and then we'll go to the pizza place. So I said, are you sure it's going to be really quick? He said, yeah. So it's like 5 o'clock. So we get out, and because it's going to be really quick, we didn't take water or food or a sweater or cell phone. It's just really quick. We're just going to go a little bit up the mountain and then come back and go to the pizza place. So we start walking, and probably like 25 minutes goes by, and I was like, okay, I'm good. I'm ready to go back down. And he's like, no, because the guy said there's a place where you can stand on a platform and you get this really incredible view. So let's go a little bit farther. So he takes off. So I'm like trudging behind him and like really thinking about the pizza. So we get to like this flat place, and he said, I think this is where it might be. And I said, it says do not enter. And he's like, no, I think this is it. So he climbs over the do not enter, and he's like, just wait here. So I'm standing there. There's like nothing. Like there's no ranger stations. This is not a place where like a night, like where you're going to run into people or anything. So there's nothing. There's just trees. So he comes back. He's like, no, it wasn't there. And I said, okay. So I was like, I'm really hungry. Let's get going. So he said, I think if we go down the flat thing, where the ATV goes, we'll get down quicker. And he says, because the last part had been kind of straight up. And I was like, really? He goes, yeah. I said, okay. So we start going, and we're walking and walking and walking and walking and walking. And I was like, I don't even see the tops of the trees. And he's like, oh, it's fine. So I know that it's at least 7 o'clock for sure, even though we didn't have a cell phone. So we walk and we walk and we walk, and it's probably like, it's starting to get a little bit, the sun's coming out. So then we walk so far, the sun is almost down, and there's no people, nothing. And so I'm getting worried. So he's like, it's fine, it's fine. So all of a sudden I look up and I see something that looks like a person. And I was like, hello, hello, hello. And I'm jumping up and down, and it was a person. And so we meet each other, and I said, are you lost too? And he's like, yeah. He said, I'm a college student here, and I was out jogging, and I think I took a wrong turn. I was like, well, since it's almost dark, we should stick together. So he said, okay. So we're walking. He kind of knew the right direction. So we walked another hour and a half. And so during that time, we really got to know each other because there's nothing else to do. So we tell him our whole life story. He tells us his, and he wants to know about our sons, and we tell him all about Grant's accident and everything that happened. And he shares with us his parents had gotten a divorce and that he didn't get along with his dad. They had some problems, and that his parents had never come to see him at college. And so anyway, by the end of it, we really felt connected with him. So we finally get down and we see there's some cars. I was like, oh my gosh. So we get down to the bottom and he's like, there's something in the road up there. And so he runs ahead, and he had a cell phone. So he shines the light and it's a skunk. So I was like, all right, that's kind of cool after all this long hike. And so he said, I'm going to run back to college, to the school, and get my car, and then I'll come back and get you. I was like, Mike, please do not leave us here. And, oh, I forgot the most important part. We'd come down the wrong side of the mountain. So our car it was on the other side of the mountain. So he's like, I'm going to run back to school, get the car. And he said, walk about a half mile up, and on the right, there's a little ATV parking, and I'll pick you up there. So it's a little mountainous road, and every time a car comes, we have to get way off. So we get to the area, and we wait, and wait, and wait, and wait. And just as Mike comes back, it's starting to rain, and I was already really mad at my husband. I was like, the pizza place is definitely not open anymore, and it's raining. And so Mike shows up, and I was like, oh my gosh, we're so happy to see you. So he has some towels and some water, and I was just like, oh my gosh. So he drives us to our car, 25 minutes it takes in car to get to our car. And so when he pulls into the lot where ours was, it was 10 o'clock at night. So we felt so connected with him, and we really didn't want to leave him. So Barry said, hey, can we buy you a meal? He's like, yeah. He said, follow me back to where the university is, and there's a place where we can go. So we go in there, and he and Barry and Mike are ordering, and I get a table. So they bring all the food back, and Mike said, hey, I have a favor to ask you guys. He said, it's parents' weekend, and my parents aren't here. He said, is there any way you could just pretend like you're my parents? And we're like, no problem. So his friends, they're going by, and they're like, hey, Mike, is that your family? And he's like, yeah. And we're like, hey, how are you? This is so-and-so. We're like hugging them, like parents would do. And so, I'm sitting there at the table, and I'm like, this is really beautiful, because here we are, parents without one of our sons. Here's a son without their parents. That works. So a messy, messy situation turned out to be a beautiful thing. And how many people do you know that have a skunk as a guardian angel?